Hey guys, hope you're all doing super well. So what I'm gonna be doing here is I'm just setting up VirtualBox so I can boot into Ubuntu 25.04, which released today on April 17th. So I just want to check it out and review it with you guys today. It's looking pretty exciting. So they've got stuff like dev packs for easily setting up stuff with programming languages and like software development kits, like Spring or probably Rust or Python or Ruby. But they gave the example of Spring probably just because like it's an enterprise friendly web development framework in Java because they have like a lot of enterprise customers. And then you got some other stuff like I'm kind of blanking right now actually, so I have to check the release notes. So if I go to Ubuntu release 25.04. Let's see. Okay, that's not really it. But I'm just trying to see. Oh yeah, Ubuntu 25.04 features. It's already releasing today, so that's stuff you already know. And then there'll be a few different things here. I'm on like It's Foss. They've been like a really good website about Linux stuff for a long time. So just like stuff like install upgrades, like it's like simple quality of life stuff there for dual booting. So it's like especially if you got like Windows encrypted drives, you can like make it so you can boot Windows and Ubuntu at the same time from the same hard drive. User interface upgrades in GNOME 48. I'm not a super huge fan of GNOME anyways, or GNOME, so I'm not gonna look at that too much. Well-being is actually kind of cool. We just want to make sure that you're not using your computer too much or with like a really bright mode with like a lot of blue light at nighttime, so that kind of affects your sleep. So I just don't want to be doing that too much, just for health reasons. Notification grouping, just like another quality of life thing. It's like not super big, kind of cosmetic there. HDR support for monitors and app updates, just like usually just keeping stuff up to date. But the really cool update they have this time actually is they'll be giving you the newest release of Linux kernel, like 6.14, I think it is. I think they'll be like further down here, and also some other program language updates. But if we go further down here, Linux kernel 6.14, that's like the latest like stable version of Linux kernel at release. So they're going to be giving you that right up front. Instead of giving you like a kernel that's a few like minor versions old, they'll just be giving you the newest thing here. Man, that's gonna be pretty cool. Just have like the most like up to date like hardware drivers, most up to date like kernel patches and stuff. So that's all really exciting to see. Inclusion of app 3.0, which like is another thing I'm excited about. It's more of a backend change, but like when you like use aptitude or apt-get or any of those like programs, you can sort of feel it's like sort of made in like Python because it's super slow. And you get something over here that's a bit faster, hopefully, new dependency resolver. And this should be pretty good because I definitely like run into like dependency hell type issues with Ubuntu. We're just like, okay, you're trying to uninstall something, but it has dependencies on other stuff that is installed, and whether or not it can be safely removed, Ubuntu will just refuse to uninstall stuff or install certain things because like dependencies aren't being met. So hopefully this will help with those dependency issues. Coloring changes, like it's a little bit cosmetic, but it just makes it easier to pick out stuff when you have like a lot of like output in your terminal. You can just go and look for different colors for like red or blue or green, depending on what you're looking for. It's like probably something successful, you can look for green. Something failed, you can look for red. So we can do all those things as well. Let me check if anyone's in the stream yet. Still no, that's okay. So that's like the main stuff, and then obviously I'm the most excited about app 3.0 changes, dev pack, the newest kernel version. I'm like pretty like pumped about those in particular, so I'm excited to dive in here with the installer. It's going to be a bit cramped until it's installed because right now it's running off of like a disk image in VirtualBox. So, and because it's a Mac, I'm using like ARM64 as well, so hopefully that's not too big of an issue here but in terms of getting packages. And just click next here again for it just asking about accessibility issues. Select your keyboard layout. I'll just do English US because I'm in the US. They speak English, so that should probably be a good fit. Use wired connection. It's using a wired connection because it's in VirtualBox and it's just like piggybacking off of like the Wi-Fi connection I have going like in the host machine, so that should be fine. Install Ubuntu or try Ubuntu. You can just like pick install Ubuntu if you actually want to install Ubuntu onto your main machine, or like whatever VirtualBox thing you're in. So I want to do that. So let's pick install Ubuntu, interactive installation, or automated installation with install file. Let's just sorry, I gotta like zoom in here real quick with my face. No, let's just do an interactive installation. Let's see what that's all about. A default selection. What's this extend selection here? Offline friendly selection of office tools, utilities, and web browser. Let's just go with the default for now. Install third party software for graphics, download. Yeah, you usually want to check these boxes because like if you try to get this stuff post install, it can be a bit of a pain because like there's some legal issues around like MP3 and MP4 codecs and like just downloading those after the installation. I don't really know why those are issues, but sorry, it's just easiest to get those when it's easiest to get your hands on those during install time rather than like trying to get them after the fact once your system is in place and installed. How do you want to install Ubuntu? Erase disk, install Ubuntu. Yeah, I mean, like the disk is already blank anyways because it's on VirtualBox, so it may as well. No encryption. Yeah, it's us forego encryption for now. I don't care about that too much. Spacey is my first name, I guess. Require my password to log in. I'll just do a really simple password that even I won't forget. Skull emoji. So your computer's name, this will just be your host name. Then simple password there. Should be good to go. And then this looks like New York time zone. I'll be glad to work with that. So just because I'm like in the American New York time zone, they just give me a quick review of what I installed here, so I can just you know uh, it can just like look at those and see if it's correct. If anything, let me just like change from sharing here real quick. So for Windows, hmm. Yeah, never mind. Not to keep sharing the entire screen because there's no option to just share VirtualBox for some reason. And we're installing now, so yeah, now it's gonna wait for that to finish. It'll take a bit of time. Hopefully not too long because I just went for with the default installation, not the extended stuff. These like loading bars are pretty nice actually, so glad to see that. Just a lot of little quality of life stuff. The design tweaks like really just show the polish in the OS, and it's nice to see that after a while. Like you don't want to be like staring at the same OS forever and ever. It's nice to see some cosmetic tweaks here and there. And just giving us like a little preview of what's to come with this OS. Just like a lot of little like marketing bits about open source software and like developer tools and lots of cool goodies like that. I love seeing that. That's why I'm here. What's this saying here? Installing the system. Let's see if we can get more details. Enhancing creativity, just talking about different like multimedia and like photo editing and video editing suites. Great for gaming. So it's the usual Steam, Discord stuff. And then with Steam, you got like Proton and Proton DB and all those things. So just like compatibility layers for gaming, it actually makes gaming on Linux a great time. Stuff usually works pretty well as long as it's not like heavy anti-cheat stuff or brand new games that just came on yesterday or whatever. We should be good to go there. So well, like the Platinum Dark Souls 2 and 3 on Linux, so it works pretty well. Yeah, this will take a bit just because like we're in a virtual machine. It's not going to be as fast as like my actual like bare metal machine here, but I think we can live with that. Oh, someone joined. Let's see. Let's type hello in the chat because having a bit of trouble seeing this person is. Well, they left, I guess. So must be camera shy. Let's see if I can turn off my camera here. I don't want to just have this disorienting infinite screen effect constantly when I switch screens. Yeah, but this is weird. It's not letting me turn off my camera very easily. It's just strange. I'm still installing the system. I'm just going to the little slideshow. Guess I'll just take some time. Yeah, in the meantime, it's been like pretty excited about Ubuntu 2504 for a while, just because I mean, I don't even know if it's like a long term support release or anything, but it's been like one look at what Ubuntu has in store for a while. Uh, I was like keeping track of their like 2 yearly releases. They release every year in April, October, so ends up being year dot excuse me, it ends up being year dot oh 04 or year dot 10 for every year respectively. So this year it's like 2504 and it's going to be 2510. Uh, 6 months ago we had 2410, which was a decent release, but we'll see what 2504 is like just because they're the latest kernel and like some other backend improvements I've been looking forward to for a while. So I'm glad to just dive in and check those out. It's been waiting for some nice dev packs, some nice uh just nice app changes, just lots of stuff under the hood because I just don't like waiting around for app to resolve dependencies and just take forever installing stuff. I like watching that stuff happen quickly. So let's see. Still, setting up the system. Okay, we're making some progress here. That's good. Let me see if I can change up my settings real quick for screen sharing. I go into what's it called? Gotta be some kind of permissions thing here. Privacy and security. Screen and system audio recording. Okay, so it's telling me that I'm meant to quit VirtualBox so I can share it. Um, Save the machine state here, just so we can like get right back to where we were as soon as we start screen sharing VirtualBox. Hopefully, saving the state of the virtual machine. Yeah, I'd actually share my whole screen, but just for privacy reasons, I try not to share my whole screen, just like the stuff that I'm actually working on, like right now. Oh, hey, someone joined. Hello. So what I'm, but I don't know. People just keep coming and going. It's kind of odd. But just as a reminder, what I'm doing here is I'm just installing Ubuntu 25.04 and looking some of the cool new features it has. So that's just what I'm working on here. So for VirtualBox is popping up in my system audio recording now, so I might be able to restart VirtualBox. Let's first of all see if I can just share VirtualBox from the screen share menu now. Choose window, not yet. I might share mine touch screen. This is being a real pain. Okay, so Ubuntu 25.04 is installed and ready to use. Let's check it out. First, what I want to do is actually let's just restart. Uh, yeah, restart the system. And while that's happening, I will just take out the live CD from here. We can just detach it somehow. Reload settings. Just cancel for now. Let's just see what happens. Please remove the installation medium and press enter. That's what we're trying to do right now. Is it gonna let me remove it? Remove disk from virtual drive. Okay, that should be exactly what we want. And then we can press enter or return on Mac. They call it something different. They call everything something different on Mac. So let's keep chugging. Any day now. I guess since it's the first boot off of like a virtual disk, it'll just take some time. You know, it always just takes like any new OS you install, it's take a bit of time to like initialize everything and boot on a clean install. That's just how it is with computers, I guess. It's a lot of stuff to set up in the background. Yeah, this is taking a while for some reason. Early in the stream, I was trying like start up Ubuntu uh, with like the ISO and the optical disk drive, that like the virtual optical disk drive. It just pretends that there's like an optical disk in there. But the issue that I was having was that this is an ARM 64 virtual machine because I'm on like a Silicon Mac. But the issue is that I was putting an AMD 64, like the Ubuntu 2504 release, like AMD 64 architecture disk in there, and it did not take it. And I was wondering, okay, I was wondering like, okay, maybe the disk like borked or something. But I was literally putting in the disk with the wrong architecture, so that just gave me just weird issues. So just scratching my head there for a bit, but it turned out to be a simple fix. I just put in the ARM 64, the Ubuntu 2504 release, and all was well. Uh, kind of well. This is waiting for this to boot up for the first time. See if we can read more stuff about Ubuntu in the meantime. Some more miscellaneous changes from this great website here. It's Foss. I've been going there for a while, so I'll just put that in the chat just so it's easy to access if you join the stream. Sorry, I keep switching around between tabs. So better IPv6 networking, that's always good. BeaconDB replaced Mozilla location services. I'm not super sure why they did that. Maybe it's because like some of the controversy around Mozilla nowadays, but should hopefully be pretty nice. Let's just actually check out this BeaconDB thing is. Public domain wireless geolocation database. That's interesting. 35 million networks, 1 million Bluetooth beacons, 1 million towers. That's a lot of stuff. Ethically sourced, opt-in only data collection, privacy friendly. All right. Cool stuff. I don't want to linger on that too long, though. Implementation backporting of fixes for reported issues on NVIDIA and Wayland setups. That's also pretty nice. It's always nice to see like NVIDIA fixes just because like graphics drivers are always updating stuff. It's good to have them, in a good spot when they were on release. I'm just giving instructions on how to upgrade to Ubuntu 2504 from 2410. Man, just a little thing about why you should get an It's Foss Plus membership. Honestly, maybe I should get one of those. This is a pretty good site. I've been going there on and off for years, so I have to throw a few dollars their way. That'd be nice. Just because like stuff's open source doesn't mean people don't need money. People still need to, earn money, put food on the table, unfortunately. So that's just the way things are. Let's see if we can read more about those dev packs I was talking about earlier. So Ubuntu 2504 dev packs. Yeah, I don't think Google knows what I'm talking about, but let's just see more about this. New dev packs and tool chains for developers. Okay, so Ubuntu 2504 comes with latest tool chains for Python, Golang, Rust, .NET, OpenJDK, GCC. Wow, some heavy hitters here. That's pretty cool. Mm. I find like it's interesting that it's come with .NET because like .NET has recently become like relatively recently become cross-platform with the advent of .NET Core. But a lot of like people who've been in the business for a while, software development, just still like kind of regard Microsoft as sort of boogeyman that's like really closed source, really embrace, extend, extinguish. Where like okay, it's like embrace some open source product and they add some new stuff to it and they extinguish it on purpose. Like that's just like their whole overarching strategy. A lot of the times, just want to like embrace open source stuff just to put it out and kill it and like replace it with their own thing. But I'm not that skeptical of Microsoft, but yeah, I kind of have that in the back of my mind too. Admittedly, just like they could just like do weird stuff at any time. That's why I'm kind of reluctant to use like VS Code, even though I do end up using it a lot. But like they do have like telemetry in there, so it's just like a bit of a bunch of like hairy issues. So it just depends on how much you trust their leadership and how much you trust their like, development and business ethos. But I just flip flop a lot on that myself. It's just so many factors to consider. So that's the name of the game with big companies. You just got to be like on your toes, I guess. Yeah, it never ceases to amaze me how complicated they make simple window management stuff in Mac OS. Like, wish you could just like snap to the left or up top or wait, can I snap to the left? Oh shoot, I actually can. I didn't know. Like I thought like maybe it's recently added that, but like now I look bad. I look like I don't know how to use Mac OS, which I don't. Like there's a lot of stuff that's like different from Windows and Linux in here, but it's always fun to just play around with new stuff. Okay, I know this Ubuntu installation thing is taking forever. Like if this doesn't finish in like 10 minutes, I might just like quit out of this stream. This is taking forever. Let me see if I can search this up actually. So Ubuntu 25.04 ARM taking a long time to install. More than 2 hours. Oh, that's from 2011. Has anyone managed to install Ubuntu 25.04? Install Ubuntu 25.04 does absolutely nothing. That's not promising. Just got something on my phone. That's a reminder. Let me check which date this is from. Maybe this is from like a daily build or something. Where's the date? February 20. Oh yeah, that's early. That's like much earlier in development, like compared to the final release that we're looking at now. Strange stuff. A lot of stuff here that I don't think will help us with our VirtualBox installation. So Ubuntu 25 for ARM 64. I wonder if plugging in my power outlet will make this go any faster. Maybe he just needs more juice or something. Let's see. So, oh, yeah, zooming in too much is probably not helping the CSS of this website very much. It still is reading more about the different improvements here. Mentioning the well-being panel, triple buffering support developed by Canonical, provides higher performance and smoother user experience. That's on the face of it, that sounds kind of odd because I mean, if you're like buffering stuff 3 times, that sounds like it'd just be more performance load. But what do I know? I'm not really in this space, like with like the GPU drivers and everything, and like rendering and all that. Papers is a new default PDF reader, improved performance. That's always nice. What I really want to see is more about the under the hood improvements. So improved scheduling system called schedule ext or sched underscore ext because C developers love to abbreviate stuff. Mechanism for implementing scheduling policies as EBFF programs. I don't even know what that is. I'm not super low level stuff either. My background is in like Java and React development, so this stuff is like kind of out there for me. I'm still learning about C and systems programming, but I'm just sort of pursuing it casually. It's not like going to be my day job anytime soon or anything. New NT sync driver that emulates Win NT sync primitives. It may improve performance for Windows games running on Wine Proton. Okay, that's pretty cool. The Ubuntu installation process has been improved for users who want to install Ubuntu alongside other operating systems with advanced partitioning and encryption options. We didn't really see much of this stuff here because I just like didn't really mess with like installing Ubuntu alongside other operating systems, but systems with like the option has like historically been there, and like the idea is that just like improving, uh, interactions like other like just like if you interaction like other hard drives, the OS is on your installation, so that's always good to see. We already looked at like hardware, and do we look at hardware enablement and AI workloads? Probably not too much. New ARM64 desktop ISO, that's pretty cool. Early adopters, huh? The Ubuntu 25.4 introduces full support for Intel Core Ultra 200 volt series, 200V series, and reading V as volt for some reason. Integrated Intel Arc GPUs, more Intel Arc GPUs. Okay, so this might be good for video games. Like new additions include improved GPU and CPU ray tracing and rendering performance, but you need Intel Embry support for that. It's kind of weird. It's good for Blender, it seems like too. That's good. Hardware acceleration for ray tracing on the GPU improves frame rendering by 20 to 30% thanks to a 2 to 4 times speed up in the ray tracing component. Okay. Canonical is extending support to on-premises use cases. That's pretty interesting to see because in like the Ruby on Rails like web development communities, there's this whole debate around, okay, do we do like cloud, or do we migrate back to on-prem, or do we have on premises, servers, or do we do some hybrid of the two? So that's definitely a raging debate in the web development community nowadays. Yeah, this thing is still installing. I think like I know they said like the ARM 64 thing was for like early adopters. That kind of makes sense because I haven't seen an ARM 64 ISO for Ubuntu before. But this is still not super cool. I wish they would at least tell me, give me an option to see what was going on there. Hey, yeah, I think I should be back now. So the Ubuntu thing is still installing, unfortunately, in the virtual machine. So they did say the ARM 64 2504 release was for early adopters, which I didn't read that until I was on stream, unfortunately. So just doing a bunch of waiting around here for that thing to happen. But yeah, so I wish I could have gotten in and like tested the improvements a bit more. But I think we'll just have to content ourselves with like me reading off the It's Foss article and the tech scene article. It's about some of Ubuntu's like new features for a bit, going into a bit of detail there. But unfortunately, I can't really get like Ubuntu to actually install itself in a timely manner on my virtual machine, so I might just have to call it here. If you joined for a bit, thanks for coming by and supporting me, and leaving a like if you did. That's like I got one like on this, so pretty happy about that. Just got to install Ubuntu, go through the installation process, which I got to show you guys, luckily. But we just taking a bit of doing here, so I have to keep messing around with this and seeing like how to make it go faster or whatever. But might drop a video on dedicated to Ubuntu 2504 later, but because like the stream doesn't really do release justice, but we'll have to see. If you join, thanks for your support, and I'll just call it here for now. Um, thanks and have a great day. Bye.